Hi there, today we're going to have a look at why is life challenging, and it's challenging for all of us. Nobody escapes, we all have our challenges, and so we're going to look at three things today. Firstly, we're going to have a look at, well, why is life challenging? Then I'm going to read you a section out of a book that several of us have channeled together that deals with this issue, and then we're going to have a look at, okay, so we're having a challenge, what actually do we do about it? So, I am part of a group who has channeled a book called Spiritual Wisdom for Changing Times, and what we're doing through these videos is introducing you to some of the concepts that Spirit have brought through for us. And one of them is challenges. So it's believed that we are here having a soul or spiritual experience in a physical body. And we're here to learn and grow and develop our soul. And one of the ways that we do that is through having challenges. So ultimately, we choose our own challenges, even though we may wonder, did we really, or why did we do that, or why even did we choose a challenge that's so hard? We have chosen our challenges before we came here on the understanding that these would give us the opportunity to learn, to grow and develop ourselves and our soul. And so we probably, with some of them, have even had a soul contract with somebody else before we came down here, that they would work with us to have this challenge and give us that opportunity to grow. So why do we choose these challenges? And there are many, many reasons. Let me just give you a few examples. So one of them could be to deal with issues from a previous life. So, for example, my father, at the end of his life, had quite a significant challenge that was traumatic for him and ultimately traumatic for us. And after he passed over, I waited a while and then I contacted him and I said, can you explain what that was all about? And he said, I'm sorry to have put you through that, but it was unfinished business from a previous life of mine that I chose to deal with this lifetime. And what he did is he had a soul contract with somebody else to bring those challenges into his life. And while it was painful for him, he finished that off. He finished off the unfinished business from a previous life. And now in the spirit world, everything's fine. So it could be something like that. It could also be to learn something to help yourself, but also to help other people. And we often see that, don't we, that somebody has had a challenge in their life that's then spurred them on to do something to help other people with those challenges. So they may set up a charity or some kind of organisation or some kind of fundraising or something that helps the people who've been through the same challenge that they have, but in order to do that, they needed to live through the challenge themselves. Another reason could be to make us change our path a little bit. So we're going along a path and it's potentially not the best path for us. So at some level, we throw in a challenge for ourselves so that we alter our path. Some people say it's like taking the scenic route rather than going straight from A to B, and on this scenic route we give ourselves the opportunity to learn more. It's probably the case that we're altering our path to be on something that's more in accordance with our soul's purpose. So that's just a few reasons. One thing I did want to share with you is a challenge that you are likely to have whenever you start a new venture. And this could be any kind of venture. It might be maybe emigrating, maybe moving from employment to self-employment, maybe moving into or out of a relationship, just a new venture of any sort. And what you'll find is you're going along, say, on a path like this, and you decide to go on a new venture. So instead of this path, you go this path. And what we want on this new path is it to be all very nice and all very pleasant and only good experiences and reaching success. But quite often that doesn't happen. And fairly early on in your new venture, instead of going like this, it goes like this, and it goes downwards, and it goes lower than the path that you were on before that you decided to leave. And what that is about is fundamentally life, or maybe yourself, saying to you, have you got what it takes to be on this new path? Are you prepared to learn and grow to be on what this new path is requiring you to have and to do? And so when you've gone down there, then generally there's two responses. There's people who think, this is way too difficult, this is a problem, this is permanent, and they probably give up. And then there are those people who understand how life works, and they think, well, I started the path, I've obviously got to learn something. What do I need to know or learn or be able to do to carry on this path? And they know or learn to do those things, and then they come from down there, and then they come back up, and then they carry on the path. And they may have a couple of more challenges, but because they know that they can deal with them, and because they know that that's what life is doing, then they go on their path successfully. So if you start on a new venture, and if you have a challenge, that's probably what it's all about. Now, one of the things that we also do is when we're having challenges, or we look at other people and we look at their challenges, and we often compare. And it's easy to say, isn't it? But it's really not a good thing to compare ourselves to other people, because we just do not know what they're going through. We do not know what their learning is. We do not know what their challenge is really taking them to. We can see what we see with our human eyes, but there is so much more going on beneath the surface. So the only person's challenges that we really, really need to deal with is our own. And just remember, we are eternal beings. Most of you, if not all of you watching this video, will have had previous lives. And we will have had challenges, most likely a lot bigger than what we've experienced this lifetime. And here we still are. We've come through it. We are eternal beings. So whatever you have decided that life throws at you, you've also brought through the capability to be able to deal with it. And here we are again. We will carry on. Ultimately, we will be fine. So let me just read to you a little bit of the book that deals with this issue. Okay. Imagine that there are stripes like a zebra crossing, black, white, black, white, black, white. They take us from one side to the other. Life is black and white, and we go on a path. It's not all white, it's not all black. It's black, white, black, white. Understand the yin and the yang, the balance that is life on earth, the balance that is human life. This is the balance that you came here to learn. For some reason, you only want the good, you don't want the bad. But you've signed up for this. You've signed up for the black, the white, the black, the white, sometimes the grey, though you often see it as black or white. That is the natural order of being a human on earth today. Don't fear the black or the white. The white is often seen as good, but it masks a myriad of things. While you may see it as good, somebody else might not, or vice versa. Nothing is good or bad, it's how you perceive it. There are two things you can do. You can change your perception of good or bad, or you can just accept that it is. We recommend the second way. Just accept that what you experience is. It doesn't need a label. It doesn't need any kind of judgment. It simply is. And so it goes on and explains more about your zebra crossing and other people's zebra crossings, but really we only need to look at our own. And the only way we can move is forwards. And what they do say is that if you feel the black or the white is getting too much for you, then call on them for help. And so I asked, what do you do if you're experiencing a challenge? And I decided to channel the answer. And this is the advice that Spirit have given. I'm going to read this one out. The first thing to do is stop. Remove yourself from the energy of the challenge. It may be concern or confusion or fear or even terror. Take a step back in peace and have a look at the bigger picture from the point of view of what your whole life is about. Where do you think this particular challenge fits in? In what areas might you need to grow and develop? Because that is what the challenge is helping you to do. It may be something small, it may be something large, but it's ultimately a challenge that you have chosen to help you gain skills and wisdom and to reach a higher level of vibration. The concept is as simple as that, though dealing with it in the human world may not seem quite that simple. So call on your guides or helpers, call on people around you, and call on your inner knowing for help. And so what I have done, I have channeled a couple of newsletters that help you in this aspect. One of them is called Are You Crying Out for Help? And the other one is called I Don't Know What to Do. So in combination with this video, spiritual advice that we've received here and the advice that's in the newsletters, it's a way to help us move forward, to understand what it's about and take some steps forward, knowing that ultimately we are fully protected and ultimately these challenges are for our own good. They're helping us to grow and develop. So we all have challenges, we're all in this boat together, and we're all here to ultimately help raise the vibration of the world. And we haven't come here at this time in history by coincidence. We're here on purpose. And these challenges will help ourselves, they will help other people, and they will ultimately help the progression of the world. Keep going, you can do it. Thank you so much for joining me on this short journey. Have a look at the newsletters below, and it would be so helpful for us if you give us a thumbs up and subscribe, because we're solely doing this to get Spirit's message out into the world. It's been so good to have you here, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one.